It's the only organisation that take your earnings pre-tax. So I said, look, man, I can't do this. No, you're paying that. If you don't pay it, we'll have to do the deductions of earnings, which will take 20% and 4% from her. You need to just do it. And I thought, you know what? Okay, mate, whatever, yeah.
So she moved out of the house to move back in the house?
Yeah, and then a day later, and a week later, after implicating all these people into this, a week later, she moves back in. So what happens now? On the day of the child access hearing, the C100, I go to court. We go to go to that family court, yeah? We get to the window. The guy looks and went, nah, yours has been cancelled.
And no one didn't tell you nothing?
So why did no one tell us nothing? That was March the 16th, 2022. I still ain't got my clothes. I still ain't got my stuff. I have no personal belongings. I live mobile. I live off grid. I'm effectively still homeless.
What's going on, people, and welcome back to the Baby Fathers podcast for another brand new episode. I'm your host, and I go by the name of DJ Ridler. Now, before we start today's show, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to give us the likes, all right? So on today's show, we have another special guest, and he goes by the name of Farouk. How you doing, my bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. DJ Ridler.
Yeah. Listen, I say thanks for coming down. Obviously, coming from afar.
East London, yeah, east to west.
Yeah, so thanks for coming down. So before we start, what has brought you down to the Baby Fathers?
Yeah, what it is basically, I've watched some of your podcasts and I've seen the fathers talking about their journey and the court journey and all of that. And I'm going through my own journey. So when the opportunity came up, I thought, yeah, I got to jump in and keep pushing it and get the story out there. And overall, the key thing is because of how oppressive the system is, my key thing is exposure. Hence, I just got to keep pushing that exposure because those that are not involved with it, they can't fully understand the oppression that's in plain sight. It's hiding in plain sight. Hence, I'm here pushing the exposure.
Wicked, man. I like the sound of that. So listen, before we start today's show, I have to put a disclaimer out there, all right? So anything what you say is your truth and it's your truth only. No one can't say anything different because it's coming from you to what you experience it to be, all right? So we're going to start from the beginning, beginning. So I'm going to let you lead from how many kids' mothers do you have?
Just the one, yeah.
And how many children do you have?
I've got 3 children. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're going to start from the beginning when you was with the mother.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Go on, my bro.
Basically, look, I try and simplify it a certain way, yeah, just so people understand. Obviously, look, I'm Muslim from an Indian, sub-Asian continent, that sort of background. So the way we get together, get married and stuff like that, it's a little bit cultural in our way and how we do it, as you know, right, yeah? So got married, met someone, got married for various reasons to this person, right, because of the way it's done in the community. Now, what happens in the Asian Muslim community, more so I would say the Asian community, yeah, because of the way marriage is seen and done, right, yeah, I think there's an element of pressure on the families to say they need to get their kids married. You know, dads want to get their daughters married. It is sort of seen from a cultural point of view that that's the mum and dad's last job for their children. So kids hit their 20s, 30s and all that. There's an idea that we need to now get them married. And because how difficult it is with the marriage crisis across cultures, finding a good woman or finding a good man, yeah, same problem exists amongst the Asian community. So what happens is what people tend to do is when they're struggling to find someone suitable, and you understand the Asian community, as you know, is West London, right? Are very fickle when it comes to money. So if you're a family that ain't got money, they're not well-to-do yet, you're slightly looked down upon, yeah? And I'll even say this in the Muslim community, you know, Muslim, Islam, it teaches a lot of good things, a lot of values, and they don't put too much emphasis on monetary value, but human beings are human beings, yeah? So what happens is, I could talk about my community directly, Gujarati community. Let's say, for example, so when I was looking to get married, yeah, people and you go see someone, yeah, your potentials are limited because people are saying, oh, look, his mum and dad live in a council house, yeah? Oh, that geezer ain't got a degree. You say, yeah, but geezer's an engineer, he's working. You know, certain things are looked down upon, unfortunately. So what happens then is your potential offers gets reduced. And when you ain't got reputation, money, or you're not some big successful businessman, your potentials are now getting smaller and smaller. And when you're trying to get married within that community element, then your options are limited. So what happens is, instead of finding a companion or a life partner, someone that you click with, it becomes something like, I need to just get this done, get it over the line. So instead of a journey, it's just become a destination.
Was your marriage arranged marriage, or was it someone that...
Yeah, so I'll tell you how it was. It depends on the definition of arranged, or what you call arranged now, yeah? So there was a guy that I knew. He said, listen, I've got one of my cousin's sisters, she's looking to get married, she's single, I'll hook you up, this and that. So I said, all right, get me a number. Spoke a few times, met a couple of times, but because of all the other problems of getting married in the community, as I've mentioned before, I've subconsciously, you understand, there's no real pressure. No one's saying this to you. You feel this pressure. It's like, so I felt this pressure at the time, and I thought, look, and again, as I said, yeah, at the time, she seemed all right. Mum and dad, hardworking people. They built their life from the ground up. Hardworking people, and I thought they're decent people. You understand this? So it all on the surface seemed good. And I thought, if you got mum and dad like that, you know, they talk to you, oh, son, really nice meeting. They talk to you like you're one of their family. You think, oh, what lovely people. But the problem is, once you sign on a dotted line, yeah, you start noticing a different attitude. So it was arranged in that way, but I thought it was okay. Like, I could make this happen.
So how long did you know her for before you got married to her?
I would say about 6 to 8 months.
Okay, so it was very short. It
was a short time, yeah. So it, like, look, you could argue from my Asian community, that's normal. It can happen. It's not a biggie.
Okay.
There's some people even do it shorter. So my point is, there's many that have done it like that and have been successful. Don't get me wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? So from a Western sort of perspective, it might seem like a short time. You could argue it is, yeah. But it's not also uncommon. Do you see what I mean?
So basically, in the Asian community, this is normal. It's normal to get.
You could argue it's almost a norm, yeah.
Okay, cool. So 6 to 8 months, you got married. What happened from there?
So you got married now, yeah. And what happens is, once you get into the relationship, you start to get to know someone. You start living together, yeah. My scenario was slightly different, yeah, because again, it comes down to a specific situation where I started noticing odd things, so like odd behaviors. And
like what?
It's not any one thing that you could pinpoint, but it's how every task, it's the mindset of thinking behind every task. The only examples I can fully give is when it comes around to the kids now, yeah, because before you could think, it's not her, it's me, I'm being paranoid, yeah? So there are certain behaviors, and for example, look, so let's say she done some cleaning at home. When she gets to the other side, oh, I'm really tired because he's never there. I'm always working. So when you've always perceived to be the victim, so you get a certain amount of attention, when you perceive yourself to be the victim, and every scenario is turned into where you're presented as a victim.
After that, moving a bit forward, when did you have your first child?
Yeah, so had a baby, right? Got pregnant, fell pregnant, had a baby now, yeah? So, and as, you know, when the baby's small, you're a new father, she's a mother, she's doing the whole maternal thing, you're being supportive where you can, doing your bit. But I noticed straight away, there was an element of, and I just presume it's a motherly thing, you know, maternal thing, right? She's got control over the baby. When you go to mum and dad, they got control over the baby. There's an element of, I noticed straight away that I'm a passenger straight away in my baby's life. These are subtle things. You can't put it together in the moment. Yeah, these little things over years, right? But I noticed straight away, like, technically this was her baby. And then how you establish control now. So with the behavior that we've just talked about now, yeah, once you've now got a baby in the mix, yeah, you have say for example, you had a disagreement. So Christmas time, it was 21st, 22nd, like Christmas time, really cold, -2 outside, yeah? 2-week-old baby, yeah? 3-week-old baby. Little disagreement about something middle of the night, yeah? Grabs the baby, pajamas, yeah? Wraps in a blanket, in a car, drives off, yeah? -2, icy roads, little baby, drives off over a little argument, yeah? That's when
where did she drive to? Her parents?
I ain't got a clue. Middle of the night, it's 3-4 in the morning.
And you never knew where she went?
I haven't got a clue, and this is what happened. So she drives over a little disagreement, no big deal, right? Drives off like, and I'm thinking that's a bit of an overreaction, and then to put the baby at risk. So one side of you's thinking, look, I'm not having this, like, I'm not gonna be treated like this. But then because you've got the kid, you start getting paranoid. You start thinking, yeah, but what if something happens to the kid? Maybe I shouldn't have said nothing.
All right, so what did you say to trigger her off to drive
It was just some disagreement about something that just got out of control. So it's like a normal argument. And this is what I'm saying. So I just thought, okay, look, we've had a little disagreement. We'll go back to bed, go sleep. We're in the bedroom, like, go back to sleep. But when you take the baby and disappear, which I learned later, when you show unpredictable behavior around a baby, next time I might think it's not worth it. Let me leave it, yeah.
So she's obviously had the first child. How many years later after that child, she had the second child?
2 years later.
And how was that?
Again, same, we've got, how can I put it? So at the time, in the moment, I just got used to living like this. It is what it is. No big deal. I got a kid. When you get married in the community, I'm from the generation where once you're in, you're in. So I thought, it doesn't matter, I'm in. Secondly, I got a kid. I'll soldier out all the way. There's no option. I got to do what I got to do. So, and look, it was okay. Things weren't great, but it was okay. It could have been all right.
All right. And then when it got to the third child,
one thing I noticed was they weren't my children. They were her children. They were her mum and dad's grandkids. The children, anytime, like my family lived 10 minutes away, yeah, but my kids will never ever mention their uncle, aunt, grandparents from my side of the family. Yeah, I'm at work, I'm out trying to provide and this and whatnot, but the kids have been taught your dad's never around. I'm not out dossing, he's out working. That's alienation while you're there, yeah, that sort of thing going on. But I got accustomed to the fact that because I'm out working, she's got the kids. I've only got so much control and say in their life, yeah, because the fact is I have to go to work. So when I say, look, take the kids to see their grandparents, they're 10 minutes up the road, yeah. But I say, your family live an hour away, but the kids seem somehow spend more time with them and they just don't spend any time. So like for example, I'll give you one small example, yeah. My little one was small, right, yeah. If I'm about to say, listen, I'm just popping to my mum's, let me take the little one quickly, mum can see her, yeah, mum. Shower time. First time you think, okay, fine. Following weekend or when I'm about to take him out, it's bedtime.
So how many years later was you together before it took a turn?
Right. So look, it was never great, but it was what it was. We were a family. We had kids. I was battling these demons daily, but I was still part of their life. I saw them daily and still trying to manage all of this, yeah. It got to the point where one day, like, something just snapped. And I thought, like, look, came home one morning, kids are saying, Dad, take us to school. I said, I wasn't allowed to drop them to school for some reason, yeah? Control. Dad, please drop us to school. Anyway, long story short, one morning, he started threatening me, this, that, coming at me, watch what happens, this, that. And I thought, man, this can't carry on. So I just said, listen, I'm done. I'm out. Islamic, I wasn't civil registered or nothing. It was just an Islamic marriage. So I said what I had to terminate that marriage on the spot. I thought something has to give. It cannot continue. Also, when you're constantly put in a situation where you're goaded, right? When you feel like someone trying to get a reaction at you all the time, you're holding it together. I thought this situation getting dangerous, number one. Number two, I'm getting openly threatened in front of the kids. And this is playing out in front of the kids. I'm saying, look, don't let the kids see stuff like this, yeah? I thought I can't do nothing right now like this. And me naively thinking, now this is where the game starts now, yeah? And then a few hours later, that evening, I come home, yeah? I come home, let my mum and dad know, look, this is what's happened. They're like, okay, where is she? I said, I ain't seen her since she went to pick up the kids. I ain't been home since, yeah? That evening, knock on the door, police van outside with a police car, 3 or 4 officers come in to the house and said, can we speak to you, Mr. Ishmael? Take me in the kitchen. I got my little one in my arms still holding on to me. Again, classic. Historic allegations of abuse, financial abuse, this abuse, the old throttling card, all of it, and take me away to the station.
So when they took you to the police station, what did they question you about when you got there?
So it kept me in overnight. Following morning, 15 hours later, they start questioning me. Again, they start talking about historic allegations of abuse. The old throttling card, apparently it's a standard card now, but yeah, the throttling and financial abuse and he's forcing me to wear the hijab and all of this, the extremist card and the honor card. So basically, they're questioning me around all of this. And I'm trying to make heads or tails of all of this. I said, look, this just ain't real. I don't know where to start. Like, what do you say? How do you prove it? You were never there. How do you prove it? So they question me, probe me. I'm thinking no one's going to believe me, bro, because she looks like the victim. She plays the victim. All the school friends, her family, she's been playing the victim for 10 years. So if you're constantly defending a position that doesn't exist, you've already lost. So I'm trying to sit there, work all of this out, but they release me with no further action because there's no evidence. They can't prove any of this. So they release me with no further action.
All right. So once that happened, did you able to get to see your kids after that?
No, I ain't seen the kids. I'll tell you what happened straight after that. So they release me. I don't go home. I'll go to work for the next 3 days. I'm doing night shifts. So I thought I'll stay out the way, right? It's a bit of an awkward situation, yeah. Again, people don't realize, if you've never done this, and it's a big thing in the community, like, to do this. I'm from a generation, bro, where we didn't see people doing this. Like, you didn't separate, you didn't divorce, yeah. So I'm just getting used to that. I'm trying to think, like, what's going to happen to my kids? What's going to happen to, my life's work? I had a house before I got together with her. So I'm thinking all of this, but main thing is, I'm presuming things will calm down and I'll see the kids in a few weeks when everyone settles down and the grown-ups will get involved and say, right, listen, things happen, these things happen, it's life, no big deal, let's sort our arrangements out. That's what I was thinking. But 2 or 3 days go by, I am sort of sleeping at work on night shift, yeah. I'm doing a night shift and I'll stay away during the day just trying to figure out what's going to happen, yeah. And 2-3 days later, if I remember correctly, I'm hit with the molestation order. I get the email, I get the text, the WhatsApp message, and I get the court processor ringing me, and I'm thinking, like, leaves me a voicemail. So I'm thinking, like, what's all this? So I'm reading through, and I see these because I'm thinking, with the police release, once the police let me go, no evidence, that's it, it's over, innit?
Yeah.
Once I start reading off of these allegations, right, and I'm thinking, like, what? Hit with a non-moral, and you think to yourself, my God, like, you see all this stuff, you start reading it for the first time, and you think, firstly, you're a man, yeah, thinking, no one's going to believe me. Secondly, she looks like a victim, and she's been playing the victim for 10 years, and she genuinely believes these things took place because of the personality disorder element, yeah? So it's very convincing. So I'm thinking, well, what do you do? Like, who's going to believe me? So you're hit with that order. So then I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that. What happens? When do you go to court? What do? Should you call a solicitor? Do I go speak to someone? You know what I mean?
Okay, so when that's obviously happened, what did you do after that in terms of getting that all sorted out?
Okay, this is the thing. So with the molestation order, you can't call her, you can't talk to her, you can't go near her, you can't go near her family house, you can't do anything. So I'm just getting used to the restrictions that suddenly been placed. So I can't go home. So yeah, so after that, I can't go home. I can't go 100 meters within my house. Or I can't go to my doctor's surgery. I can't go to my brother's house. I can't go to my local mosque, my local electrical wholesaler, nothing, just like that. Now, the thing with my order was what people said to me at the time when I spoke to like a solicitor or I took some advice at the time, most molestation orders have a 2-week return date. So you can't just throw someone out their home and just leave them outside for like months on end, yeah? So what they said is normally it's a 2-week return date where you go back and say, look, judge, whether this is real or not, or put your case forward, yeah? With my one, it was 2 months. So I said, listen, where am I supposed to go for 2 months? You can rock up at someone's house for a couple of days and sleep on a sofa, but you can't rock up indefinitely for 2 months. Add to that, I've got no clothes. I've only got what I got in my van, yeah? I've got no clothes, personal belongings, tools, everything's there, my workshop, everything.
So what was their excuse for that?
They didn't say anything. They didn't respond to you. So you messaged the court. They said, well, it's just what it is. That's the only date we have available.
All right. So your stuff is obviously inside the house, your clothes and stuff, all right? How long did it take for you to able to go back to get your stuff?
I haven't been back since. That was March the 16th, 2022. I still ain't got my clothes. I still ain't got my stuff. I have no personal belongings. I live mobile. I live off grid. I'm effectively still homeless.
All right. So the house, what she's living in, that's your house.
Yeah.
So how is she able to kick out your own house?
Because with the molestation order, they then applied for an occupation order. So this is what played out. So I got this molestation order. I'm trying to deal with that. Few days later, police called me, right? This is the other thing people need to be aware of, yeah? And this is a very grey area and a lot of people are getting caught out with this, yeah? So police call you. It's a civil matter. You can stand your ground, yeah? But police are, listen, she wants to get some personal belongings and bits and pieces, which I have on record on voicemail, yeah? From the sergeant from the station. This was a few days after the molestation order, yeah? And I said, look, this was just a day before the molestation order. I said, no problem. Do what you got to do. She knows the access kit and this and that. I said, I'll tell you what, when she comes around, can I see the kids as well quickly? Nothing, blank, yeah? So I just thought, you know what, it's an awkward situation, high conflict situation, just keep out of the way, no problem. Now they told me she's picking up a few clothes and bits and pieces for the kids. This was at this stage, yeah. Now, so the police are present at the house, the local PCSO was present, they've given me this instruction. I said, yeah, pick up a few clothes, whatnot, no problem. She rocks up with the van, yeah. Unfortunately, once that domestic abuse card is labelled on you, all these brothers from the community, like Beard Hats, brothers that work on other platforms, like, you know, well-known, they rock up at my house. I've never known, never seen these relatives that I've never met of hers, all rock up, along with the school mums, with a van, and they empty the house out. They start taking appliances out, dryer, washing machine. They start emptying the house.
They done it in your house?
Yeah. They started emptying the house out. And the police were meant to be there to make sure nothing gets robbed. They stood there and watched it happen. They helped them load the van. And I've got a message from the sergeant saying, we will be present to make sure, not to be concerned, nothing gets robbed. And they stood there, helped them rob the whole house.
All right, so she moved out of the house to move back in the house.
Yeah, and then a day later, and a week later, after implicating all these people into this, a week later, she moves back in. And because I've got a molestation order, I can't go there. Even my Mackenzie friend at the time's going, I've seen some bizarre stuff over the last, 15 years, but this is just the most bizarre. You come with a van, you go to all this trouble, empty all this gear out, and a week later, I'm served with the occupation order. So I had the molestation order already. I couldn't go home, yeah? So she knew I couldn't go home. She could have just stayed there, left her stuff there, but she emptied it out and then moved back in a week later.
But if it's your house, my argument is, if it's your house, how are you able to get kicked out of your house and not come back in your own house?
I'll tell you how.
Once she's ready, when she took herself out of your house.
No, but this is what people don't understand. That's why you claim abuse. Once you claim abuse, you hold all the chips and all the cards. So you claim abuse, you've secured the kids. You're a man, you're danger straight away, yeah? Once the abuse card's planted, you secure the kids, then you can secure property and finances. So what you do is you first remove me out of the picture. Molestation orders get dished out like sweets, yeah? So you're off this picture of 6 months to a year. And with the delays in the family court since COVID, and the court, there's one specific court in East London, right? There are so many delays, right? And it's the worst court in the land. You could be a year before you go to even get your first hearing. So when they executed that, it was already 2 months before with the molestation order to a return date, yeah? They already applied for an occupation order, and then on the grounds for the kids need housing, school, this, that. But once they've secured the non-mol and the occupation order because of the abuse allegations, and remember with the abuse allegations, it's the threat to life. If you happen to be Muslim, it's the old extremist card. He's forcing me to wear a hijab and niqab. And then add to that, the honor card, because he's Indian, he looks down on women culturally, he's a bit backwards. So they're standard cards that you play. Once you play those,
is that like a stereotype?
Yeah, standard. So when they go to what happens? They get advised to say these things, yeah. And what it turns out was weeks before this was already being planned. So
who advised them to say this though?
So when you go to the doctor, for example, say, oh, look, I'm depressed, this, that, and when you've already been saying, my husband's like this, he's always doesn't help me, this and that, they have to refer him to a certain group, certain women's group. When they get to a certain women's group, that women's group, they have a blueprint for every community. If he's white, if he's black, if he's Muslim, Asian, whatever, they have a certain narrative. If he's ex-military, he's got PTSD, he's unpredictable, for example. He's a police officer, he's seen too much action, he's bringing his work home, he's a danger for whatever line of work you're in, community background, they've got the blueprint. So, and that's the standard pattern. So once you say that, you've also secured legal aid. So that aid group that's advised them, they've secured another number through the door, so they keep getting their funding. They've secured a legal aid down the road for the lawyer who's getting 20, 25 bags, yeah? So they don't care. They then further advise them and say, right, this is how we can legally dismantle him and do this, this, and this, because you're a victim. But they know they're getting that money. She secured the house short-term temporarily, and you're effectively on the streets. That's how they do it.
After all this happened, how long later did you put in your application to see the kids?
Right, so I put an application, I would say about within 4 to 8 weeks, yeah? Okay. Because I realised I'm not going to see them. Because I thought, let me be sensible, emotions are high, let's be adult here. And to me, she's still the mother of my kid. Regardless of the horrific stuff that I've read against me, I'm thinking, look, angry, people are upset, it's understandable, no problem. Give it a few weeks. When people calm down, accept the situation, then we can move forward. That's what I was thinking. But nothing. Another day goes by. I think, okay, when will I see the kids? When will I see? You start going on that roller coaster. When will I see them? Will it be tomorrow? You know, you're trying to adjust to so many things, yeah. Then I realized, look, man, if I didn't have a say in their life when I was living with them, I couldn't take them out of the house without being on. What, did I really think I'm going to see them now? Look, I thought to them, bro, I'm being delusional.
Yeah,
man.
you woke up.
Yeah. I woke up. I was getting shots from left, right, centre from the whole system, trying to get used to that.
Okay, so when you put the application in, how long did that take?
Right, so the application was put in April, I believe, yeah? So March, April, so about 6 weeks later. Now, me thinking I'm going to get a response from this application because we live in England. This is a first world country. We have laws and orders and processes and we have justice here, man. You know, this country ruled the world at one point. You know, yeah, great. Yeah. You know, these people look after me. Yeah, we're good here, man. We're lucky we're in England, I'm thinking, yeah. Put the application in, right? No response, just waiting. Just waiting. Then we get a date. Weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, we get a date saying you got to attend court for your child application, say in May. So we get a date for a couple of months away, yeah? Along with, I also get a date to challenge my molestation order a couple of months away. Even though I wrote to the court and said, listen, what do I do for 2 months? Like, I can't live on the street, like I'm living in a van, yeah? But listen, no one cares, no one wants to know. I thought, look, I can ride it out, no problem, yeah? So then I get the dates for the court, yeah? Now, what happens with the first court, the molestation order? So the first hearing on the non-mol, they say you do it remotely via Zoom, yeah? So I meet my Mackenzie friend on the services on the motorway on the M1, yeah? And we do it via Zoom. And the judge says at the time, look, I want to see all the facts. I want to check all your police records, this and that. Based on that, I'll make a decision in 4 weeks' time. We'll do an in-person hearing, yeah? I thought, okay, that's that one. He might drop all of this and I'll go home in 4 weeks. I'll be home again. I'll get back to my life, yeah? Or get back to some stability. And then I'm thinking the child access ones, a few weeks down the line, we'll obviously start sorting that out. And, so I'm thinking in my 3-4 months, I'll see the kid, yeah? Whatever happens, right? So what happens now? On the day of the child access hearing, the C100, I go to court. We go to that family court, yeah? We get to the window. The guy looks and went, nah, yours has been cancelled. Well,
and no one didn't tell you nothing.
I said, why didn't no one tell us nothing? They went, sorry, we thought we emailed you. They make up some excuse by saying, yeah, sorry, there's not enough judges. It's been cancelled. We'll let you know. We'll give you another date. So I'm trying to make heads or tails of all of this, right? So we leave court, trying to make heads or tails of it. And we've been waiting for the first hearing ever since. We're still waiting.
Still from today?
Yeah. So we got a date now, but that date only came 14 months, like over 12 months later. There are so many delays, and it took the local my local MP. He wrote 2 letters. He chased them up twice, and then they just came back with, oh yeah, sorry, it's turned your life upside down, yeah, but we'll give you a date now, yeah. We just got delays basically.
So have you ever seen your kids since that time?
I've not seen, not spoken to them, nothing, not even a picture, nothing.
And how long has this been? How many years has this been?
It's been 14 months.
So that's a year and a bit now.
Yeah, so it's been 15 months coming up now. And by the time I get to court, it'll be nearly 20 months, it'll be nearly 2 years. So
in terms of child support, does she hit you up for child support?
Yeah, so this is what happened. So the week that all of this kicked off, so when I ended it, 3 days later, I got a letter from CMS. So then my Mackenzie friend said to me, this application must have been in 2 weeks ago, like, because they wouldn't have done this quick. So I'm thinking, hold on. My reaction to what happened that day, March 16th, where I ended it, was maybe good that I did, because this looks like it was already in the pipeline, all of this, yeah? So I got this application, the CMS letter, yeah? They said, we want £1,000. Wow. I'm thinking, like, what? That was then, right? That was still when I was living in the house, and I thought, okay, look, juggle the bills, this and that. Because you got to remember, when you still got some stability, so those couple of days where I'm thinking, well, I'm living at home, how do I do this? And what it said on the CMS letter, phone us up, this and that, we'll work it out properly, yeah? So this is the thing with the CMS. Whilst all this is going on, I phone up the CMS. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, the guy's really, really nice, really polite. So yeah, give us your name, give us your details. Yeah, don't worry, sir. I'll see what I can do for you. We'll see if we can bring it down. There's a few little things you can do and we'll sort it out. You'll be fine. Don't worry, yeah? And I'm thinking, yeah, it's all right, man. We're decent people, man. I'm so glad we live in England. We got all these, decent people and these processes, yeah? Soon as he's got my name confirmed, national insurance number, you're the father of so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Once he got it on the system, he went, nah, that's what you're paying, 1,000 and thingy. And if you're not careful, like looking at your figures, it could potentially be more. I was like, well, hold on, bro. You said you're going to work something out for me. Yeah, I've looked and you owe that money. You need to pay that. Like his attitude, again, it's like different geezer. And I said, listen, mate, hold on, man. You said to me you're going to try and work something out. I can't pay the mortgage bills. I can't genuinely do it. So it looks like I earn a big basic, yeah. But I said, we do pay tax in this country. It's the only organisation that take your earnings pre-tax. So I said, look, man, I can't do this. No, you're paying that. If you don't pay it, we'll do that. We'll have to do the deductions of earnings, which will take 20% and 4% from her. You need to just do it. And I thought, you know what? Okay, mate, whatever, yeah. I'll do it for now, yeah. So then what happened was, this is before that molestation order was served, yeah. So that month I had to pay that £1,000 in CMS.
Was you, sorry to interrupt you, was you also paying for the mortgage?
Yes.
And you're paying for the bills at the house?
I was paying everything, all the bills. And now there's an additional £1,000. So what happened then was, and this is where it all got a bit bizarre. If you're living there, you think, okay, look, I'm living here, I can still work and function. But a day later, I was made homeless. So once you're now made homeless, you're living off the grid, you're living out of a van and, you're sofa surfing. You're trying to go to work and concentrate, work as an engineer, right? Work with electrics, data centers and whatnot. And, it's a lot of responsibility because all of this apps and everything goes through data centers. So you got to be alert, right? Yeah. So I'm going to work with all this headache, not sleeping right, you're struggling, you're trying to manage, you got managers on your case. So now you got the CMS want £1,000, but you're homeless and you're paying all the bills. You think like, what are you going to do? And
so why would you still paying the bills?
Because it was all in my name, innit?
Okay.
The house is in my name. So I was paying the mortgage. It was my house. I had the house before she moved in, yeah? Before we got together. I was paying all the electric, gas, all the accounts were in my name. Do you know what I mean? Council tax was in my name. It was all direct
So she's
debit.
using it all up and you're paying for it?
Yeah, so once you serve with this molestation order, she's not, no, it's better than that. She's taking all the house, the bills, all of that. She's getting £1,000 from me, CMS. She's getting £1,000 from her part-time nursery job. And she's getting a child tax credit that I have to pay back at the end of the year as well. So I'm paying everywhere. There's the only system in the world, right? This is the only system in the world you can be targeted like this.
You get finessed.
Yeah, big time. So that's when my eyes open. I'm thinking, how long has this been going on like this scam? This is the best scam in the world. So I was paying for all of it. And like I said, I've got a child tax credit saying, you need to pay that. I said, look, she can pay that. She's working. I don't live it. No, as long as you're earning over a certain figure, that child tax credit that she's claiming for each child, the 20 quid a week, what you get per child, you're paying that about £1,700 a year. I'm paying back that as well.
All right. So how many months later did you stop paying for the house?
Yeah. So this went 3 to 4 months now, yeah? So I had to just stop working. Now, I've been working from 16. I've never had a day off since 16. 24 years straight, clean record, employment record, not a problem, yeah? Overtime king. In the companies that I worked for, I was known as the Mayweather of that game. I was the Money Mayweather, top earner, yeah? Money Mayweather. I was the top of the game, yeah? So I've gone from that to earning nothing, bro. Out, like, you're a danger to yourself and others, yeah?
So you stopped?
Yeah, so when went to the doctors, they said, look, I started losing hair on my face and all of this, and you're not eating, you're just driving around, just surviving, you're not sleeping, you're sleeping in a van, you're all over the place, yeah? Doctor said, look, you need to, just sign me off. So as they signed me off, work said, look, we can't pay you. And so went into statutory sick pay. Unfortunately, engineers don't have it that as good as they should. Statutory sick pay, earnings went down, yeah? But I was still paying the bills, mortgage, and CMS. So then I just got to a point one day I thought, listen, man, I got to pull myself together. Forget work. Work is irrelevant now. This whole show has come to an end, yeah? I can't try and juggle it all. I need to get
You're not killing yourself.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to survive day to day, yeah? So I just thought, forget work. Let's wrap it up. So I wrapped that up, yeah? Started sending the CMS the pay slips, yeah, because once they see the pay slips, start sending the pay slips. Any of my private customers that have built over 24 years in the trade, yeah, because I ain't got access to tools, this and that, you're not concentrating, they're all gone as well, right? Once you're unreliable, no one wants to know you, yeah? They're gone. Plus, I ain't got access to any personal belongings or tools, so that's gone as well. So I thought, right, forget work. And because my work stopped paying me, and in the end, I just had to resign. And they said, "Look, keep your record clean, just resign." And it was a good company, they were looking after me. So I thought, look, I don't want to mess them up.
Yeah.
I had to resign in the end. So 6 months later, I resigned from work completely, and I sent CMS the pay slips, the doctor's notes, all of that, and they left me then. Luckily,
So that stopped you from them paying.
that stopped that £1,000.
Okay.
And then I thought, listen, man, I'm surviving. I'm surviving to try and eat now. Yeah, literally. Yeah. So I had a bit of savings that managed to still pay the bills and all of that. Just
Your own personal bills.
yeah, no, the house bill.
The house bill still.
Still, yeah. So it went on for a few months.
Okay then.
So then slowly, because I had this in my mind that we're going to go back to court. You understand? So I still had it in my mind when that judge said, you come back here in 4 weeks in-person hearing. So I thought when I go there and he sees the truth, he's going to send me back home, innit? And say,
So
look,
you always thought that you lot was always going to get back together again?
no, but at least I'd go home, innit? Or at least say, look, we got kids here, we'll manage or whatever. I've got an outbuilding, I'll sleep in there. We'll do something or other. And in the Asian community, what traditionally happens is girls want to go back to their mum and dads with the kids, like, go. And my point is, when we were living together, she always wanted to go there. She wanted to move that way. So I presume she was going to take the kids and go West London, innit? And I'm thinking, all right, that's something I'm going to have to accept, yeah? But what's happened is since she now don't want to go to mum and dad's, like, so all this drama, control, keep the kids with her, mum, dad, their little thing. Now you've got the opportunity to do it, you don't want to do it. So effectively, as far as the kids are concerned, right, yeah, the way I see it, the damage effectively is already being done. Because of the way the system is and the processes, they allow for that time for, not I'm saying that it's going on, obviously it's a running case, I'm not saying anything. But in other cases, what it's turned out to be is mum generally then has a clear run effectively to do whatever, ones that engage in this alienation to the kids.
All right, so what are you going court for in terms of what are you fighting for?
Well, I'm hoping that, look, if I go to court, so the C100 applications in for child access, it's the child access, yeah?
For custody or just part-time?
Me personally, I think I'm going to win, so I'm going for full custody. You know? There's people are laughing. There's probably people laughing their head off saying this guy's delusional now, yeah?
But why would you want to go for full custody though?
Because, let me ask you a question. Why not?
I tell you the reason why not.
Go on.
Right? The fact that these kids have been around their mum the whole time, I would advise you to do 50-50 because she's not no harm to her kids. And the children still need their mum just as much as they need their mother. Their father, sorry.
I agree, and I was up for all of that. That's what I thought was going to happen. But then you enter the system and you realise the delusion. And the thing is this, the last 10 years, right, of my kid's life, now don't get me wrong, the moments I had with them, we have a bond. We had a bond. We spent time. We did things, right? You know, like for example, because I'm into the engineering building, we built things. We have a bond. We did a lot of stuff together, yeah? And I've got my ways of doing things. Now, my point is, right, because I spent a lot of time working, now, father, ultimately, your job is, there is a certain, whoever you are, any community, culture background, you got to go and hustle, work, whatever you need to provide, yeah? That is you doing your job. Now, I never realized that can be used against you. So the fact that I've lost that time because I was working, but I was providing.
So you want to get the time back now because...
Yeah, but I've lost out there. I've lost out now. And now this is being used against me, like, at time that your dad's never here because he's always out working. Yeah, but I'm working for you, like, for giving what I never had. Do you know what I'm saying?
All right, but if we think for the child now, if we're thinking about the kids, all right, the mum's no harm, you're no harm. If it was 50-50, you wouldn't settle for that?
No, I would settle for that if it came to it. But my point is this, look, mum's got a full-time job. Mum's working. Mum wants to pursue a career or whatever her dreams and aspirations in life were. She can have as much access as she wants. Why can't I be? Because I was conditioned to believe, that was mum's job. You're the man, you need to do this and that. I was just conditioned to believe that. Why can't I? Once I entered this, I realised why are fathers fathers accepting that position to say, like, for example, when I was in it, how is it I subconsciously always believe they weren't my kids? I don't really ever say in their life. You conditioned to believe this.
Yeah.
Women, unfortunately, don't see it like that. Now, she was controlling, not all women, obviously, but certain women who were engaged in this sort of control, she controlled that bond with the kid. So he's not allowed to take him out of the house. There's that control element. So he's lost out regardless because he didn't see these. So when, like the shower time, the bedtime, the nappy time, all of these things.
Reading books.
Yeah, missed out.
So what's your whole thing with this child support? Like, what's your whole thing with them? Like,
So
what have you got against them? How do you feel about them?
Right. So basically, since obviously my little brush with them, yeah, I know how they made me feel, right, yeah. And then when I luckily I got out of them, but when I looked more and more into them, I looked at the powers they had, yeah. They could go into your bank account, start taking your money out. They could force you to sell your house for a small debt that's been created, yeah. That's when I started learning about, once I got into all of this and I started studying all of this, and I noticed how many powers they had. And I realized, look, most people think you're free to just live your life and do your thing. When you enter this, right, you're no longer a civilian. You're controlled from every angle. So I might not be in prison now, but I don't have any other rights beyond this. They can go into your bank account. They can take money out your wages. And you got to understand, my gripe with the CMS is this. The less contact dad has with a child, the more he pays.
Do you think that it is designed or set up for a father?
No, it is designed to make money and create acrimony because it says categorically in black and white in their handbook, the less contact the non-resident parent has, 90% who happen to be fathers, the more father pays.
My only thing kind of saying what you're saying as well, in terms of they can go in your account, take money when they feel to. They can take a passport away from you. That is a thing.
No, it's worse. It's worse than that. Before, to take your passport and driving license, they had to get you in front of a judge and they had to prove to a judge that we need to take this off this man because he's not paying CMS or whatever, yeah? Now they've passed a bill through Parliament recently and it's on the final stages of getting passed where the administrator in the CMS office can say, right, was it DJ Ridler? Yeah, bang, go on, take this part. Done. They don't need to go in front of a judge. Look at how much power they have. They've now snuck this in under Parliament. Like, they've snuck it in literally. So where you think they had powers before, bro, they've got the powers there at their fingertips now.
Well, why do you feel that they're doing this towards fathers?
I think, look, when you look at this whole thing, this is such a, like, the subject in itself, yeah. Like I keep saying, this is the best scam ever in society as a whole. How do you create money out of thin air? How do you create money from, how can I put it, as a human species, man, woman, child, father, he's going to be there for his kid, he wants to be there in his kid's life. How do you create money out of those emotional bonds? It's money created out of thin air with the family court system. There's hurdles and barriers placed, because you understand, look, with the CMS and the family court, yeah, because I've studied all of this now and how they operate, yeah. When you're going through that roller coaster, fight, flight, freeze, you ain't seen your kids, you're homeless, this and that, you go to the solicitor, don't you? You go to the barrister. They say to you, look, 5, 6, 10 grand, whatever. For your child, at the end of the day, remember, look, primarily as a human being, right, yeah, you will, if it comes to it, as a parent, yeah, you will lay your life down for your child if it comes to it, yeah. That is primarily built in. No one can give you that. We were born like that. We were designed and built like that, yeah. Now, how do you make money out of that? So when you're going to the family court, though your child's not in any immediate danger, but you still, you ache to be with your child. How do you monetize that? So when they say to you, look, it's 5 grand, yeah, it's only 5 grand in it. For my kid, it's a lot of money, but for your kid, it's only 5 grand in. I'll see my kid. So they string you along. The barristers and that, they don't tell you that the madness that you're going to get in family, because they don't tell you that. They say, okay, we need to do this and this and this. 5 grand retainer, £1,200 every week, bang, you got to pay. You think, okay, well, I've got a bit of savings. I can get a little loan out to try and get money out of you. CMS has been designed to take money out of men because men generally earn more. And you've now created this whole structure and system around a society where you've cornered and crippled them and violated them, and you can take money out of them and they've got no rights. How can that happen in England? The whole system is built around this. That's my gripe with it. And that, you don't fully, like I said, before I entered the family court system, we knew it was biased. We know the bias is there. But you never knew it was to this extreme until you enter it. So my other gripe with the whole thing is, how did I not know this? How is it that all the sisters seem to innately know the mechanics of the system? Men, like I said, they're being controlled. Half of them at home being coercively controlled. They don't even know it. That's the point. You know, they say gaslighting, coercive control, women suffer that. Brother, I don't believe that. I'm categorically calling out that statistic I think is wrong, because 50% of the men, they don't even know they're being controlled. They were like me. Well, yeah, you take the kids to school, okay, no problem. There was times, like I said, even with that sort of control, when the missus is too nice, look, you have dinner, watch a bit of TV, I'll sort the kids out. He's like, no, I'll help. No, don't worry, you do that. It's keeping that control. And the family, they know, it just seems to be, with all the cases that I speak to, all the guys that I speak to, yeah, all of them caught off guard, cold, with the non-mole, the allegations, occupation order, bang, C100, next thing you know, they're in debt, they're homeless, they ain't seen their kids for 2 years, and they've given 10, 20 grand away with no results.
So do you think that the mum goes to CSA because she's genuinely looking for help, or she's doing it to get back at the father?
And I genuinely believe, being a father myself, I genuinely believe I'd say, yeah, for my kid, I'm happy to pay, no problem. It is my kid. I'm still, just because I've ended a relationship doesn't mean I'm ditching you and the kids. We're grown adults. Things happen, yeah? I'm still going to provide and be there for my kids. But there's this element of, if they don't want to even communicate with you, yeah, how are you going to provide? If you don't come to the table, how can you provide? Well, I'd have happily provided for my kids. I was earning good money. I was Money Mayweather in what I did. You know,
but you don't think the fact that you're even paying for all the bills in the house was really contributing to?
Yes, exactly. So categorically, look, I was happily paying all of that, yeah? I was paying the CMS, thinking that, okay, it doesn't matter. Once she comes to her senses or decide what she wants to do, because I can't carry on. Because if I can't work, yeah, I can't pay. If I can't work, or I'm completely... And the problem with my situation is the system has dismantled me in such a way that I was on the higher tax bracket, a good paying citizen. I don't pay anything to anyone now. Like, I mean, who's lost out? So what has the system gained from this? What has she gained? What has my kids gained? Nothing. They've effectively lost whatever the inheritance they would have had. It's gone.
But you think it's also kind of designed to break you down? To make you...
I think it's designed to make you a modern slave, but without the label of a slave. Look, if you look at us now, we look like, all right, guys, we just don't look like there's nothing wrong with us. But by litigation and by the system, you were cornered in being a slave. If you got CMS on your case till your child's 18, 19, 20, yeah, how many children? They've locked you down. And if they've made you homeless at the same time, you don't want to lose the investment you got. So you got to keep working. So you got to understand, most people, if they ain't got, look, unless you got money, yeah, most average guys have to keep working. You keep working because you don't want to lose the last 20 years of work, as in your property, your house, which most people have. So they got to keep working to pay that, even though they're not living there. But as long as you're working, CMS have said, no, CMS has nothing to do with the family court or your kids. You got to pay for your child. Bang, you pay this, or we'll come to your account and take this. So they've got you checkmate through for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
The system, I believe, is designed to make you a modern slave in the extreme, in the most, look, to call someone a slave is a very extreme thing. The only way I can describe is the mechanics of the system is being designed in such a way. They've studied human behavior. They've studied, look, why is it legal aid is only available for one gender, for example?
True.
And one gender reacts, 90% of the pattern I showed, one gender will react the same way, cross cultures, cross community. The other gender, men will fight. Men are like that innately. For your kid, you'll die. What's going to court? What's 5 grand? What's 10 grand? What's getting in a little? When you're that emotionally desperate to be with your offspring, what's 10, 20 grand? So what happens is you then give in. What, contacts and another 120 quid? Yes, only another 120 quid. What, 2 grand for a DAP course? Well, it's only 2 grand. I'll see my kid. So they keep stringing you along because they've studied the human behavior. The pattern is the same. And I think the system is then designed, they all work hand in hand. So family court, CAFCAS, CMS, hand in hand to keep you locked into the system and keep you a paying slave for 20 years. And also keeping you in the working class bracket.
Just also to add to that as well, I think that because they know that a man's weakness is his kids as well, or his child, they know that a father will do anything just to get to be with that child.
Exactly. And a father will sacrifice his own time with his child to provide, because that is his core duty. He will just suck it up and carry on and think, okay, it is what it is. And there's a conditioning that we accept that, look, mum's got the... Okay, when a man looks at his missus and his kids, he's looking at it as one unit, yeah? In his mind, I've got their back. That's my unit. When he's working, he's thinking of his unit.
All right. So the fact that you feel so strongly about what's going on so far in terms of child support, CMA, whatever they're called.
CMS.
All right. What's happening right now with you with that?
So what's happening now is there's a lady called Sister Sally Ambaris from an organisation called Split the Difference. She has done intensive research into the CMS. CMS are responsible for 1,000 men self-deleting annually. 3 a day, 3 men self-deleting daily, yeah, because of the pressures and the threats and the harassment.
When you say self-deleting, do you say that committing suicide?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know if I could use that word, that's why I didn't say it. I know YouTube is a bit funny, so yeah. But yeah, they're choosing to end it rather than carry on, because once CMS have got you in their class, and the studies, now I'm not saying this, studies have been done by Split the Difference, and they've got cases. And I spoke to a man, he's ex-military, CMS have harassed him, he's been on DOE, so deduction of earnings, for nearly 30 years, and they've slapped false arrears after false arrears of him. He's still paying arrears that they just made up. They literally, and when you look deeper into it, they harass the complying parent. I've seen this. I've spoke to the guy. I've seen the documents, and Split the Difference. I made all the reports. They've done the study showing these 1,000 men a year just from CMS alone choosing to end it. Now, when you see this oppression going on in broad daylight, they're about to get more powers with the passport and the driving license, yeah? Split the Difference. I've arranged this march on July the 5th, 10 o'clock, July the 5th, 10 to 2.
Where's that?
It'll be in 10 o'clock meeting at Tate Britain in London City. Okay. Yeah, the Tate Britain building. Now, they're going to do march into Parliament, and Sister Sally, like I said, it's not like, they know what they're doing, yeah? So she understands all the political mechanisms of what the processes are. So she can go into Parliament that Wednesday, because it's Prime Minister's question time, and they can call out the relevant MP and hand them the report to say, this is what is going on under your watch by a government organisation. And the other thing that people don't realise with the CMS, the old CSA was part of the government, yeah? The CMS now currently is a private contractor for the government. They make so many millions a year in profit off your children's money. This is children's money. How are they making millions into the profit? If I remember correctly, over 10, 12 years ago, it changed to CMS. Okay, cool. So the CSA, they shut it down because of all the complaints and the problems, false arrears again, and they're harassing people. They got a lot of heat.
Change.
Yeah, so they got a lot of heat. So what they did was we contract it out. You know, what happens when you don't want trouble in your own house, you get a contractor in it. So they got a contractor. Now a global corporate contractor has been given this power. Like I said, look, you got to think about this again. They can make a calculation on your earnings pre-tax. They know what you're earning. They know what tax you're paying. They know what you can afford. So how have they got this much power? How can anyone just say, this is a law, we've set it. We've set this in law now, yeah? That's number one. And a private contractor making profit, millions. I don't know how, I don't want to quote the figure, but it's around 40, at least, was it 40 million? It's into the millions. Off of child maintenance, money that's meant to go to children. I've even been told, like my sister Sally, who's done the research and study, there's been cases where father's sending the money, but mother's not receiving it. That creates acrimony. Mrs. then kicks off more with the CMS, and they say, oh, look, your wife's put an application saying you're not getting it, this and that, and then they just harass the father even more. When you're on PAYE and you're locked into the system, yeah, you don't want to lose what you got, so you keep what they've got you. And when they've got them sort of guys that got no other option, yeah, they have to work through the system, and they don't want to lose their house and all of that, so they keep paying. They just say 10 years, like the guy that I spoke to specifically, yeah, this guy, Mark McLeish, ex-veteran, he paid for 18 years. He happily said, put me on DOE, no problem, because I don't want to miss a payment. First month that he went on DOE in 93, he goes, this is 1993. They said to him, we'll take £300 a month. End of the month, they took £1,300 out his wages. This is 1993. And they did this for 6 months straight. And that money's gone, he never got it back. He went to his boss and the director, who then sorted it out for him. Then, 16 years later, he phoned them up saying, listen, he had another ex after that as well, so another failed relationship, 2 more kids. He said, yeah, put me on DOE, no problem. Anyway, 16 years go by. CMS are taking a lump sum off him, and they're dishing it out to his exes, yeah? So what do? They paid one ex more than the other. So he knows nothing about this. No one knows nothing about this, yeah? He phones up saying, look, my kids are getting of age, 16, 17. What's my situation? When will it stop? They went, oh, yeah, we've looked at it. Oh, we've just done a calculation. There's been a mistake. Yours, 9 grand. He was like, what? I can't just come up with 9 grand. So anyway, he went back and forth. He went into stress, this and that. They revalued his case. They phoned him back and said, no, it's actually 20. So he was in shock already. He went into more shock, yeah. Went back and forth, back and forth. It turns out they slapped him with another 27 grand. And again, it's DOE deduction. He can't get out of it. They got him. And he's had false charge after false arrears just put on him. Same with the case where there was an interview, this guy, Ian Briggs, he had false charges put on him to the point where they left him, I think, £50 a month for something to live on or something ridiculous. And the guy, Mark McLeish, that I was speaking to, he knows of a friend, ex-military again, who decided to end it because they left him, I think, £1.50 a month to live on. Like, so, and when you're that, and this is what people don't realize, when you're violated this way, when you're controlled, when you've got no human rights, this is what people don't understand. When these people get hold of you, you can't walk with your head held. They've got you. You are violated. When someone can put their hand in your pocket and take money out, you got no humility left. You got nothing.
All right, so
sorry, going back to what you're saying, July the 5th, 10 a.m., Tate Britain. Sorry, I got off on man. You got to pull me back in, man.
That's cool.
So
yeah, you had to be tuned in, so I'm listening.
Yeah, so 10 a.m., Tate Britain building, Split the Difference are leading this march.
Just to put it out there, it's a peaceful march.
Yes, it's peaceful. It's all organised properly. They know the mechanics of the system. They know how to challenge them. So they're going to go in, call the politicians out, give them the dossiers and say, look, bam, 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 bam. This is the evidence. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. You have to act. You got to do something. I'll even say all the social media influencers around this space or any space, we need to get out there, not just for my kids, but tomorrow, like I said, someone's younger brother, someone's nephew. I look at my nephew, he's 12 years old, yeah? Say another 5-6 years, he gets into a relationship and he gets into, these people get hold of him, yeah, because of failed relationship or he has a kid or something like that. These kids that are born after, say, 2000, yeah? I was born in the 80s, yeah? It's a different world. I look at him now and I think, is he going to be strong enough to handle it?
Time's up. So before we go, I have to always ask all fathers this, right? Any father who's watching, what would you like to say to them who may be in your position?
I would say, look, first and foremost, I would say, look, fathers need to show up, yeah? Fathers need to actually, because the fathers groups generally and fathers, they're known, and I'm not just saying this is what they're known for, they moan and whinge, but when it comes to showing up on the day, they don't show up. If fathers don't take themselves seriously, yeah, the government, the CMS, the family court, the women that engage in this, they ain't going to take us seriously either. No one's going to take us seriously. So I would say, look, fathers, mothers, everyone affected, because look, everyone is affected. There's grandmothers that don't see their grandkids, yeah. There's aunties that don't see their nephews, nieces, yeah. So we're all in on it. It's for society. It's time to step up, pull up, and bring change for our kids. That's what I'd like to say. And fathers going through this now, yeah. You're going to be tested. Look, you're going to be tested. You may hit some of the lowest points of your life, but you can get through it. You got to hold it together, believe in yourself, believe you can do this, and you can get through this. Okay,
wicked. And self-reflection. If you could look at this whole situation, what you have gone through, and the self-reflect, is anything you could have done in different?
Yes. What I could have done is, again, before I had children, the question is, and this is where I kick myself, yeah, as I mentioned, this system has been here for my whole life in this country. It's been there, hiding in plain sight. How did I not know this? Before I brought a child into this world, knowing things weren't great, why did something not prompt me to say, let me check out the laws? Why did I assume we have laws and processes? Do your homework. Before you have a child, learn the country you're in, what the laws state, what rights do you have as a father, what rights you don't have, and be present in your children's. Do not assume that you're doing your bit by hustling and working. Take those moments, don't come back. So take the time out, spend time with your kids. Take that time now.
And one more thing I'm going to say.
Yes.
If your ex-wife was watching, what would you like to say to her? And you could look into the camera.
I would just say, look, think of the children. We don't want them to go through this. We want them to live their best life at the end of the day. This is what it comes down to. We want the children to live their best life and be the best people they can be. We don't want the children ending up as statistics. Hence, we need to put the children first, period.
And if you could sort it outside court, would you be willing to do that?
Yes, I've been willing and prepared to do that from day dot.
Okay, wicked. All right, listen, It's definitely be a different episode today. I want to say thank you for coming down, my bro.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely interesting conversation. So I want to hear your lot's views today on today's show. I want to hear in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and give us the thumbs up. And remember, the march is on the 5th of July. They're going to be meeting at
Take Britain Building, 10 a.m.
So, for myself, DJ Ridler, and from the baby fathers to next time, peace. And we out, man.